What's good, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. The markets had a little time to relax. They came back to work today and said, you know what? Let's go higher. But before we get to that, I don't know if you happen to notice, you might be looking here at this fresh cut. Look how tight that is on the sides. If you need a haircut, my buddy Armis, you got to come to anywhere in the Tampa Bay area. If you've got to come down here for any reason, or you happen to live around here, you got to go see this guy to get a haircut. Look at it. Look at it. That's tight. That is as tight as I've ever had a cut on the side, man. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Anyways, back to the markets. Let's take a look. Boy, the Dow was higher to start the day. The S&P was higher. The Nasdaq was higher. Now, the Dow did finish a little bit lower on the day, down by about 12, but who cares? It's gained so much over the last few days, I don't think anybody seems to mind. The S&P hit new records. The Nasdaq hit new records, higher by 20 points. Everybody's just optimistic about the economy. They all think everything's good. Have no reason to believe it is not good. And so that's it. All news is good news, and the stocks are basically moving higher. Let me tell you one stock that's not moving higher. These poor guys have been under some trouble for a while. I think you'll know the name when I say it. It's GoPro. GoPro to the start of the day today. Look at this. I'm going to zoom in. For those of you who don't look at charts, this is today, this big old line right here. Basically what this is showing is the day's range from low to high, from $5 to $7, which may not sound like a lot, but at one point GoPro was down 20% today. He was on TV. Nick, I forget his name, Nick something. The CEO was on TV basically just saying, hey, we're going to make some changes. We're getting rid of our drone business. They're no longer going to have drones. They're going to cut 20% more of its workforce, which I don't know if you remember this, but going back to early last year, late the year before, they already cut their workforce. They're already struggling. They said that they're going to cut another 20% right off the top there, shut down the drone business, and basically try to get back to making a profit. Try to just make a profit. And they're not having very good luck right now. And so what was interesting is the interviewer, the guy giving the interview on CNBC said, would you consider putting yourself up for sale? And you ought to see the answer he gave. He kind of said, well, we would consider putting ourselves up for sale. It's not out of the question, but, really nothing's going on at the moment. Literally, later today, he announced that they hired JP Morgan to put them up for sale. So he just couldn't say that. It probably wasn't an official deal yet. Nonetheless, if you're invested in GoPro, you had a bad day. It closed down 12%. Bad news. Let's move on to something more friendly. Kohls, KSS. You know Kohls, it's a retail store. Really struggled last year, but recently here the stock's been doing a lot better. They've had a deal with Amazon where you can go and return stuff to Kohls, return stuff to Amazon through Kohls. So you can go into a Kohls store and drop off your stuff and Amazon will take it back. You can also buy the Amazon products and things from right there, the Echo and all that. Anyways, Kohls was higher by about 4.5% today. They said that their holiday sales were much better than expected. They were higher 6.9% compared to last year. So an increase in the number of people going to their stores, going to the website, buying stuff. They may have figured it out here in the short term. They're figuring out how to compete. Maybe that partnership with Amazon has helped them kind of understand how they need to compete in this real world today. Let's move on to NVIDIA. You've heard of NVIDIA. These are chip makers. The stock was up to new highs today, 3%, not just because everything else was higher. The company has a deal with Volkswagen now, a deal with Uber, and a deal with Baidu. If you don't know what Baidu is, you need to look up Baidu and understand what that company is because they are taking over, along with Alibaba. Anyways, they have a deal with these companies to make chips for autonomous driving. But here's the key. Now, everybody got a little excited today, but the chips aren't so the cars can drive themselves. The chips are so that when you're in the car, they're using the chips to develop software that will participate and interact with the user in the car. So for example, like facial recognition, they're working on that. What was the other thing? The sort of interaction on the user interface is what they're working on. So be careful, like the voice assistant thing that says, hi, welcome to the car and everything, that's what they're working on. So don't think that NVIDIA all of a sudden has the chip power and has got all these partnerships to compete and start making autonomous cars. There's a space for that. There's a plan for that, but that's not what this announcement was today. So I think that's why the stock kind of, had a little pop, but then basically that was it. Interesting news. You ready for this? This is some interesting news. I'm going to just pull up Berkshire Hathaway. If you don't know, Berkshire Hathaway is the publicly traded company that Warren Buffett is the part of. He is Berkshire Hathaway. So when people say whatever Warren Buffett is invested in, it's not him personally, it's Berkshire Hathaway. So the tax reform bill came out. Remember, now we got this new tax plan. We're all going to save a lot of money on our taxes, right? That's what you think. So Mr. Buffett, the company, came out and said, thanks to the tax plan, we are going to make an additional $37 billion because of this tax plan. $37 billion. Now, this just proves that if you are humble, and let's say you make a lot of money, and you're humble about it, you're a nice guy, you treat people well, you try to do the right thing, then people respect that. People like people that make a lot of money and are willing to help and still participate. If you're a, if you're a rich guy and you're just a complete bad person, I don't want to say a bad word on this and get flagged. So when you're mean and you're just arrogant, then that's a big deal. If this was, let's say this was, I don't know, Donald Trump's company. I have nothing against Donald Trump, but if this was his company that was saying we made $37 billion, it would be all over the headlines. Why? Because he's a tough guy. Mr. Buffett's a nice guy. He's like the calm guy. So that just goes to show, if you're paying attention, as you make more money, be nice, pay it forward, help people out, do something positive, and when you make a lot of money, nobody's going to care. They're going to cheer you on. $37 billion he's going to make. Now, to be fair, it's not because there's some loophole or something's going to happen. Remember, Warren Buffett's company owns major chunks of other companies. Coca-Cola, good example. So the corporate tax rate dropping drastically for companies like Coca-Cola is part of the reason why he's going to see more money. It's not because he has some rich guy loophole or anything. It's a very public loophole now that now you're paying 21% on the corporate tax rate instead of 35%. So that's the reason for that. Okay, enough about Mr. Buffett. I want to jump to one more chart real quick. For Bitcoin, because I know I'm going to get these questions. I get the phone calls all the time with the Bitcoin. You people got to buy it. Well, today it was down 10%. At one point, I think it was down about 15%, all because of Ripple. And honestly, I'd never heard of Ripple until today. But Ripple is part of the reason that this stock is higher today by 7%. Seagate Technologies, that's a data storage company. I believe they own almost 4% of all Ripple, which is another cryptocurrency. And so they are very, very bullish on that. They want to make transactions easier for people using Ripple, and that is their cryptocurrency of choice. Well, that wasn't very helpful to Bitcoin, which sold off a total of 10.5% on the day. Look, bottom line is you're investing in Bitcoin, you're trading Bitcoin because you think that's what you're supposed to do, right? If Apple were all the rage again and everything was exciting, then you'd be buying Apple. Do your own thing, right? Invest in what's right for you. And if that is Bitcoin, then that's Bitcoin. But for most people, it's not Bitcoin. You just want in because everybody else wants in. So be very, very careful about this. I'm very particular with my clients to make sure we're invested in what you need, not what you want. What are your goals? Let's get you there. Let's not speculate. Anyways, if you like more information, there's going to be a couple videos up here for you to check out. Some other videos that we've made. Hopefully you find them useful. If you have retirement accounts, you're looking for some help, you want a guy that's watching the markets all day and every day, except of course when he's getting this killer haircut, still loving the haircut, then check us out at jazzwealth.com. I'm going to put a little guy right down here, our little logo, to go right to our website. If I can help you in any way, of course, I am happy to do that. Have a great day. We'll do this all again tomorrow.